To Eamonn Blaney. Eamonn, you're actually in the same constituency as Avril.
Yes, indeed.
You're from, I suppose, originally the same Fianna Fáil gene pool, if you like. Your family would have been.
40 years ago.
You're running as an independent. Why
Yes.
have you chosen to do that?
Well, because I never intended running in the first place. I don't have a career planned out to be a politician. I grew up with it all my life. I saw it firsthand. It's not a job I'd recommend to any of our panellists here. It is a dog's life if you do it properly. And I just got to the stage where, having looked around, run my own businesses, and the trouble I have had getting a business off the ground in this country, dealing with the various agencies, some of them are very good, some of them are atrocious. Most of them have no choice because they have no money. And the system is collapsing. Our country, that my grandfather, who was also a TD actually, my grandfather, my father, they devoted their whole life to serving their country. And I just can't, I could walk away. I don't have a mortgage, I don't have children, don't have a family. I could walk away. And I could just emigrate and say, you know what, I'm so well qualified and I've got loads of experience, I can get a job somewhere else in the world and they'd appreciate me.
I suppose my question is, why independent? Why not go with
well, because
one of the parties?
I'll be very simple.
You know,
I'll give you an example. I mean, I know one of the things that we'll be talking about tonight is reform. You know, and I mean, when I look around the table, no disrespect to all of you, and I commend you all for running. I think it takes great courage to do it. The reality is that when you get in, any of you get in, if any of you get in, including myself, you have to listen to the party leaders, the party whip system. The old men in their suits will be telling the fresh faces exactly what to do and when to do it. Now, I just don't take too kindly to be told what to do. I know what's right. I know what's right. I know what needs to be done. What the main policies. I don't want to get bogged down in the minutiae of the politics. But the reality is, I've looked around at what everybody else is suggesting. I don't believe that they've kept it simple enough. We are going to be something.
Okay, let me let Ruan, you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I would just say in response to that.
The principle is, this person asks, if a person is working as a public servant, are they going to give up their jobs to enable somebody else to be employed while they're in the Dáil? What do you reckon?
Personally, yes. If I am elected, I will be resigning my post.
Great. Well, that certainly shows commitment there. The rest of you already have given up your jobs as such to run at the moment.
I'm unemployed for the last 2 years since I finished an MBA in Trinity, because I came in as an economy. Before I went into Trinity, I was earning a lot more than a TD. Okay, and then I went to Trinity at my own expense. Did that, got an MBA and came out, and no harm to you, your party, Avril, but you destroyed my country. You wrecked my economy. You wrecked any chances I had, not only of getting a job, but also starting a company. You know, I mean, and that's why I'm presently unemployed, and I don't think I'm even entitled to the job that I'm here. No, by all means, respond to that. As I said, it's not Avril's fault, but it is your party's fault.
But actually, Labour, let me ask you a question about the money. The cost, it seems to cost between about 30 and 40,000 to run. Yeah. How do you afford that? How do you get that money?
I don't know about anybody else on the panel, but I'm not spending anywhere.
They're
near that. $3 grand.
What about the rest of you?
5,000.
5,000.
Yeah.
Probably around 7 or something.
But you absolutely could not do this without the support of your family, your friends, my girlfriend in my instance. Like, there's a huge personal toll on people.
Yeah. And Eamonn, I mean, you don't have any party machine at all behind you there.
I have myself and my brother Henri, and in that time we've set up New Vision, which is 20 candidates running around the country, a non-whip party, if you want, a group of independents. And that's all we've got. I mean, but we're determined, passionate, genuinely want to make that difference.
Can I just on what Eamonn said earlier about party whips? And again, I would agree with Simon, because I don't think it's fair to say that somebody in a party has absolutely no influence. I was fortunate enough 2 weeks ago when you said we'll have to go in and the men in the old grey suits. Well, hopefully I think they'll elect women in not grey suits, but I was fortunate enough to be appointed to the party's front bench, so I will have an influence there. And that influence as a collective, I think that what Simon was saying, is far more powerful. And I know you can run as it, like, in some ways, running as independent is a great proposition, because you don't have to stand over any record or, you know, a detailed plan. Like, we published a 4-year plan.
If I had the resources, I'd have a detailed plan. But you, the Department of Finance, and I don't.
No, but it makes it, because we're publishing a detailed plan, it makes it very clear for people how money is going to be raised over the next few years and how the deficit will be addressed and things like that.
You're saying 3% growth, Avril, and it's actually 0.5%. There's a whole
but the only policy that I could find when I went and looked on Eamonn's website, the only detailed policy I could find was firing 1 in 3 public servants.
No, I didn't say that. That is nowhere. That is not on my website.
You said 100,000 people.
I said I
read it last night. You said 100,000 people. But I'm just saying. I'm just making the general point that
it's becoming a bit of a punchy duty.
Hang on a sec. Avril, finish up your point there.
Yeah. I'm just going to make the general point that, like, I can see what Eamonn is saying about, you know, the attractiveness of independence, and that you can run and you just run as an individual. But I'm just trying to make the point, as I think Simon was, that at least when people vote for a party, at least they know what we stand for as a collective, and they know what they're going to get. That's
okay,
what I'm saying.
Ruan, you want to come in there? That is
that is our position.
Okay, fine. I mean, Eamonn, you know, we've heard people here giving party lines, and you know that the party is there. But an independent, I suppose, Aoife's point, you can say what you like because you don't have those groups that you can guarantee that whatever promises you make will be put through.
No, you can't. But I think you have to be sort of more pragmatic about it. What we need in Dáil Éireann is a lot of very committed, capable, preferably educated, determined and passionate people. That's what this country, we have a national emergency at the moment. This country will be sunk in 10 months' time unless something absolutely massive is done and new ways of thinking are brought in. I have no problem with talking with anybody in any party about anything and supporting them on this bill but not on that bill, on the other one but not on the other one, depending on where I stand on something. Now, I think collectively in a Dáil.
So I suppose you're asking your voters, like, look at me, like me.
Well, I put it like this, if you put me into that room with the EU and the IMF to do the negotiations, I guarantee you we wouldn't come out with that deal.
But you'll never get into that room, will you, as an independent?
Well, you don't know exactly. Now, with all due respect, you don't know who you'll be going into coalition with after this election. So I wouldn't be too quick to make that assumption. You don't know what will happen.
I know, but certainly, I mean, I think what I'm actually hearing on the doorsteps is there's an awful lot of very committed independents, and I've never met you before tonight, Eamonn, but there's no doubt in my mind that you seem to be an extremely
I would love to be able to find a party that I could be at home in, but I can't.
But just to finish the point, I mean, I believe, and the reason I joined the party rather than being an independent was I think the country needs stability, and at least when you vote for a party, I don't agree with Aoife's party, I don't agree with Ruan's party on many issues, but you know what you're getting when you vote for them. They are spelling out their plans and their policies.
But they never stick to them. So what's the point?
Well,
but there's a fair point.
They never stick to them. I mean, I think they promised me Lisbon for jobs, Lisbon for recovery. Wasn't that it? I'm still waiting. We're all still waiting.
But I think the electorate are certainly more discerning this time. Sorry, in terms of wanting politicians not to engage in auction policies, but to say here's what we're going to do and here's how we're going to pay for it. And we in Fine Gael have put forward our 5-point plan.
Okay,
and it's there for people to do.
One point I want to put to Fine Gael and Labour: if you're interested in political stability, then why are the two of you joined to the hip as the next likely government? I mean, if you have inconsistent policies, then why are the two of you decided to go into bed together? Now, what Sinn Féin is saying is crystal clear.
I suppose there's been no decision made. We have to wait until the election's over and see what way the parties pan out then.
So people don't know what they're getting. It's what you're saying, even with the parties, you don't know what you're getting anyway.
Listen, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to hold there. We're moving on to another sector, because really political reform is one of the hot potatoes in election 2011. And today, a group of political scientists scrutinised the party manifestos